Hi, it's Heather with Underwater Panther, and I am continuing my Gemini or ENTJ Astro-Psychological series. And I do realize that I'm having some volume, some weird static going on in the background. I don't know what to do exactly about that. Probably get a new mic. The earbuds, I've got the Jabra earbuds, and they normally don't do that, but they've been doing that recently. So I'm not exactly sure what's going on there, so I do apologize. I'm going to try to fix that audio within my app that I use to edit my videos, and we'll just go from there. So today I wanted to do the Gemini in a nutshell video. And so Gemini the energy was created by the third house, and the third house represents surroundings, all things familiar in your immediate environment, self-expression, daily travels, family ties, immediate persons, places, things, neighbors, friends, and family, coworkers, work, home, daily life, daily short travels, work and education. It also represents how we were educated when we were young, like learning how to speak and learning how to walk, all that. So Gemini is yang or masculine, left-brained, which means logical, and they push their logic out into the external world. And so that is extroversion or masculine. That is what they lead with energetically or psychologically. They are mutable. They're able to adapt and change to others' thinking and communication. The air represents the thinking and communicating. Gemini is ruled by Mercury. Mercury represents thinking, communicating, analyzing, and it's like the steering wheel in the astral realm. It's curiosity, the instructions or the details, the nervous system, the first initial movement or ideas behind actions. It can make you feel a certain way with words alone. They can. When they're going through things, they think the right thing to do is to talk about it. The energetic expression, Gemini is intellectual, social, and adaptable to its environment. Its essence is about being able to express whatever is going on in our minds and in our heart, actually. We call on Gemini energy when we need confidence and charisma in social settings or when we want to communicate our thoughts and feelings. The twins represent the immortal and the immortal, signifying the balance between working through life on a physical human level and an energetic soul level. Gemini formed the bridge between these two realms. So the keywords for Gemini or the ENTJ, they're versatile, communicative, social, curious, storytellers, quick-witted. The motivation is to share wisdom and knowledge. So the challenges, I'm going to turn my air conditioner on because I thought that was the noise with the background, and it actually doesn't matter. And it's like 90 degrees in Indiana right now. So the challenges are they can be two-faced, manipulative, and superficial. The affirmation for Gemini is I attract positive thoughts into my life. And then life lesson is learn how to relax your mind and shift energy into your body. So it is interesting that they, the deeper that you read into the Gemini, it not only represents the thinking and communicating, it also represents bringing your ideas into practicality. And that's not what I would have thought with the air sign. That's more of like an earth sign. But Geminis are actually very skilled manually with the extroverted thinking child. I learned that through psychology, not astrology. So that's something to notate. My channel is called Underwater Panther, and that's like a Native American thing. It's like, what do you call it, mythology or whatever. It represents it's like a being that can energetically or spiritually or mentally kind of like astral travel between the underworld and the above world. So underwater panther is a very deep thing for me in the spiritual aspect, energetically. Now the Astro-Psychology, that's what I'm doing. I'm looking into people very deeply on an individual level as well as collectively. I like to try to see where we are going as a society and where an individual person is trying to consciously and spiritually get to in their lives. So it's very fascinating to me that Gemini actually represents also that being that can go in between the worlds. And yeah, look more into that. That's really neat. So Geminis are, their home or their ruling planet is Mercury, and psychologically extroverted thinking, they lead with that. That is what they prefer to do. Extroverted thinking, they go out and gather information from other people. They're initiative, they're extroverted. They will go out and collect data. They have no exaltation astrologically, but the parent cognitive function is introverted intuition, which just kind of represents their own future. I am INFJ or Pisces, and my hero function is introverted intuition. So alrighty, I had a phone call and back. Hopefully my volume is decent enough. So left field for Gemini or the ENTJ, what they're not comfortable doing is Jupiter astrologically and extroverted sensing within the child cognitive function. And then we have no fall astrologically, and the inferior cognitive function psychologically is introverted feeling. And I will break that down very deeply in the future videos, so look out for that. So the ENTJ is considered the CEO or chief top dog. They are the most masculine sign within the 12 zodiac signs or the 16 personality types aside from the ESTP or Aries. They tend to be extroverted. They need lots of freedom, lots of communication for communication's sake. They have to have recognition and praise. They can be very show-offy. They love attention, then say they don't. So they like to dress nice, get big tires, big rims, all that good stuff. They don't care about their comfort zone at all. They pretty much they're very direct and movement oriented. They are considered the most flirtatious in the zodiac. And that's in my opinion. I've heard other people say that. But they will go on logic, so it's not actually emotionally that deep for them, but it can be problematic. So they're kind of like Libras and Pisces. They're very social and just really nice, and people think that they're flirting or they're being deep when they're not. They can definitely be forgetful and need to write things down. They do things before they ask and then apologize later, so they are pragmatic, not affiliative. They are the chief of efficiency. They can be very impatient. They can have a hard time empathizing and practicing sympathy with others. They impose their will on others with introverted intuition. They can be very bossy and controlling. That's because they are systematic and they care about the processes of how things work. So numbers over people. What they report as objective can actually be based on their own subjective preference. Scientists come in mind here. They have intense authority in communicating. They bend others to their will. They take charge and they're very domineering, so they like to obligate people. They can be very critical, and when they are non-stop relentless. Their energy is absolutely something that, I'm a very masculine woman, and I just can't keep up, and I admit that, and that's fine, but their energy levels, like, through communication and physically, are through the roof. So they feel less of their internal world. They tend to repress their emotions due to emotions look like vulnerability. They're very rational. They don't feel comfortable sitting in feelings. They tend to intellectualize and ignore their feelings and go do productive things to ignore them. And when they repress their feelings, it comes out emotionally volatile. They are known to have anger issues. They're the most confrontational, pretty much, of the personality types. They can be very argumentative, my way or the highway. They can be ruthless and lack ethics, so their introverted feeling and their inferior function is they are insecure within their own feelings about how they feel, but they also are absolutely not aware. We're talking percentage levels here. They are not aware of other people's feelings. They do not base their decisions off of how people feel, let alone how they feel. They base their decisions off of efficiency and being productive. So they have very strong egos, and they can have a very short temper range. Because of the introverted feeling and the inferior functions, so their emotional world and other people's emotional worlds are not on their radar. This means that they have a shorter bandwidth of understanding, to a degree. It depends on consciousness levels, but emotions in general. So they don't know exactly how to identify their own or other people's emotions, and they can just really have a short temper because of frustration. They can be hypercritical. They raise complaints on relatively minor issues. They like to, when a problem comes up, they like to just, snip it. How do you say that? They just go after it quickly. I don't know what I'm trying to say here. I had a long day. So they can appear upset when they're not. I have noticed that Geminis, they can that's kind of a Leo thing, but they can really get into using their hands. And of course, they get excited. They're very excited types of people, in my opinion. They can be. And so the extroverted thinking people, they're pushing their thoughts out onto other people. So that can feel bossy, controlling, and just like in anger. It's like they look mad. They can look mad and they're not actually mad. Like I lived with one for 4 years, and I was like, "Are you mad? Are you mad? Are you mad?" And it's like, "No, no, no, no." So I finally just learned not to ask them about being angry. It's a communication style. It's very different from mine, so that's something to note. They can make decisions that make others feel undervalued, and that's because of the emotional world. It's not exactly there. They're very direct. They give commands. They say what they mean and mean what they say. That's what direct means in their communication style. They are a structure type, so they choose their role in the conversation. They are initiative. They go to other people for information, and they're also control-based. So they are focused on outcomes. That is they're just focused on the end goal normally, and they try to rush through things to get things done quickly. It's all about, extroverted thinking hero is all about a checklist. Let's get this done, let's get this done, let's get this done. And they can have a hard time just chilling out. I'll be very honest. They have a very hard time chilling out. So they are pragmatic, they're independent, they do what they want to the point they can be impulsive. So they don't exactly check in with other people. If they want to do something, they go do it. And the extroverted sentient child, I've noticed, it deals with, for some reason, it's like a time thing. It's like the NI, they can forecast or foresee, or it's like when they have priorities or they're planning something, they tend to not exactly like to plan details all the way out. They tend to kind of jump into things, and then they have a hard time guesstimating how long something will take or how much something will cost, and they tend to not update you if there is a time change. They'll be like, oh, I'll be 10 minutes, and then 5 hours later, it's like, where are you? Update me. So that's also kind of like a pragmatic thing. I think they can like get lost in the details and miss the entire forest for a tree. So that's kind of fascinating to me. So they are abstract as well, so that means that they're very open to possibilities. They need their freedom, and that is mostly to do with they need to be open so that all the possibilities can flood in. They're very open-minded people. They are systematic, so I've already said that. It's all about the cost efficient way. It can be either the cheap way or the fast way or the right way. It goes back and forth between all those. Cheap, fast, or right. So they are an intellectual, air sign, thinking and communicating. Psychologically, they're considered the intellectual. They're the NP. Be very generous, but it's like they tend to have that like covert contract. Like, I'm gonna do something for you, and I expect you to do something for me. Only with Gemini, they tend to take more than they give. It takes a very conscious Gemini to understand what they're doing here. So I'm going to leave that there for now. So what's their purpose? Their purpose is to be the number one executor of all the types. They get stuff done compared to everyone else. This is extremely true. It's amazing to me. They can join a company and take ownership while knowing it inside and out. So they start ground up and they know all the internal workings. They play the game of power and influence. So socially, they're very social. They know a lot of people and they know how to pull strings. So it's like Napoleon. They like to lead from the front for sure. No one can execute better than them. They have to always go to a program, go to a motivational speaker. They like to educate themselves, and a lot of that can be socially too on the floor. They need to be the chief of their village, and they need to make sure their path is the right way. So they absolutely hate wasting their time, for sure. It's they don't like wasting their time, but they definitely don't have a problem with not updating you. When they plan something and they're wasting your time because they never show. It's a thing. So their weakness. They're married to their work or their village, and they cannot leave. So they are workaholics for sure. They're all about money. They tend to work a lot of overtime, if you know what I mean. And they are the breadwinner for sure, but you do need to realize that there's balance there. Don't work your life away, and your family loves you, and your friends, and your kids, and everything else. That's the thing. But hey, it takes all kinds of people to make the world go round. Anyways, they're a master executor at many things at once. So, yeah, they want to childishly show off everything they have done. They need that positive what would it be? Trickster feedback. They need attention. It's that masculine thing, It's like I'm doing all this work and building all these things, and I need to feel recognized and respected and appreciated. They have a deep need for that. And that's how they can be socially engineered, for sure. Just flatter the hell out of them. So they will betray people to get ahead. They can treat people like numbers, for sure. I've seen it, for sure. I've seen it. They can take people around them for granted. They make decisions based on numbers, not the vision. And I'm going to have to continue this later because... Okay, so the ENTJ is considered the general, and they are trying to become the druid of the forest to gain the vision again. Okay, so the ENTJ or Gemini has an INTP unconscious, which is the engineer in their shadow. So if they are shadow focused, they will be of the engineering subtype, and they will enjoy building things. They like to create frameworks and models and help others use them. The ENTJ is triple pragmatic through the ego, subconscious, and unconscious. according to the four sides of the mind. So it's a problem on the fly if they get stuck in the INTP unconscious. They're an employee rather than a boss. So they will live their life tinkering away and being a jack of all trades rather than focusing on one skill and becoming the boss hog of that skill. So they can definitely be caretakers with strings attached without telling you you owe them. That is a covert contract. They will give and expect in return. So yeah, be wary of asking an ENTJ or Gemini for money. Don't put yourself in that position because they'll control your life. They can. They can be possessive, but expect you to give them free range, so they can be a little bit controlling. That NI parent in an unhealthy parent function that will cause the ENTJ to be, skeptical or not trusting of people. They can be very untrusting towards people for sure. They can tend to, like, when they get in their mind and they're anxious, anxiety, they can really have thoughts. It's like a Gemini is so heady or in their thoughts that it can be like an outer body experience for them. They have multiple tabs open all at once and they're just all over the place. So their anxiety can be high in their mind. And so they can be very untrusting of people, especially their partners. They can tend to jump to conclusions if their partner is out of their normal pattern. They can tend to accuse or loyalty check their partners often. So they can play both sides of the fence socially. It makes them look and be two-faced. I've noticed this. It's like Geminis tend to sit on the fence. They want to be good with everyone, so to speak. So it's like they will tell whoever whatever and not actually like take a stand or side. They tend to just kind of like they'd rather help everyone out, and so people will look up to them or feel like they owe them. They can tend to obligate people for sure. That is a real thing that I have noticed. So they can be very social, which can play into the the gossiping. They can be very good with wordplay, so it's all about semantics, communication. Like, I'm going to tell you a half-truth, and it's still the truth, and I can get away with stuff because I told you the truth, it's not the whole truth. That can be like a thing. Or they can just like to, I call it wordplay or mental gymnastics. They can tend to, like pretty much dance all over other people's intellect. So they're very witty. So they're very good with wordplay, like I was saying. They'll leave out important details but say it a certain way to make you think they're innocent. But don't ever pull it past them. I'd even say that they keep people, they tend to keep people at an arm's distance emotionally. You can never really fully get into their head or emotionally what's going on with them. They definitely tend to bottle up their emotions a lot until they explode into an angry rage. So they need extreme loyalty, but all the freedom in the world. They are all about loyalty. So it depends on the person, but that's the basic ENTJ or Gemini archetype. They are fun, lighthearted, and very flirtatious. Can't stand negative energy. They're intellectual, and they do not sit on their emotions. They make decisions based on their logic. They can actually repress most of their emotions. They're very good at hiding them too. Like, I get it, but still, honesty is important. Emotions are a part of the human experience, and it is what fuels our decisions, and it is very much a part of it. It's not just our logic and thinking and what we can get accomplished. They are, so they can be very flighty for sure. They're hard to pin down. That's the whole point. You'll never really know what's going on with their internal world. Gemini, so Gemini in a nutshell. Geminis like to relate and communicate. They are mirrors like Pisces and will mirror others' behaviors, good and bad. Their nature is leading in masculinity because of the constantly being in the thinking realm. Gemini females tend to come off as masculine, while Gemini males tend to have more internal feminine qualities, but do realize the personality type in general is the most masculine sign, or extroverted, however you want to look at it. Geminis need order in order to have progress, unlike the movement types who are not scattered by chaos. They are triple control in their temperament, all the way down to their subconscious mind. They are extremely organized entrepreneurs. So they live in the what if, in the thinking realm, and they also can create major paranoia or neurosis because of they're always in the head. They are initiating, masculine in the sense they want to be the pursuer. They're actually turned off by being pursued. They initiate communication and action by being directive and controlling, so that's the structure type. They employ precise definitions, policies, plans, and procedures, and believe optimization is made through objectively understanding each piece of something. They are left-brained and scientifically minded, process-oriented, methodical, and perfectionistic. They care about utility through technology and maintaining external order. This makes them very business savvy. They want others to think highly of them through what they create in the tangible world, so business, finances, crafts. They do enjoy building things in the physical world. Deep down, they worry if they are good people or not, and can even fear become mega successful. They are goal oriented and know they are responsible with what they want. They invest in their future and honestly want to be very wealthy. But if you value them and they believe in you and your potential, they can become very altruistic and giving. Over time, they will think they are owed because they see things as investments and want to make good on returns. So their giving can tend to be a covert contract, so be careful with that. Their insecurities actually lie in being paranoid and extremely critical of people's intentions. They think other people are always out to get them constantly and that they are not bad. They just don't want to be bad people. They're concerned if they're bad people or if they are not valuable enough. It can be very hard for them to give genuine emotional connection, which makes them keep people at an arm's distance. This is also because of major abandonment issues. They need ultimate loyalty. The time are singled out as a bad guy, but best believe deep down they're actually trying to craft the ultimate experience for others that they do let in. They are artists at heart. And that's all I have for the ENTJ Gemini video today. Click like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.